It's suspicious, it's alarming.
China is one of the most significant long-term threats to Canada's sovereignty and prosperity, and is increasingly targeting Canada's health, science, and technology sector. Last summer, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service cautioned Canada's universities and research institutions that China uses academic recruitment programs to obtain cutting-edge science, research, and technology capacity for the regime's economic and military advantage. In January, here in Canada, Dr. Xianggo Chu, the head of vaccine development and antiviral therapies, and her husband, biologist Dr. Keding Cheng, were fired from the Public Health Agency of Canada, having been removed from their work in the special pathogens section of the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg in the summer of 2019. Winnipeg's lab is not an ordinary one. It's Canada's top infectious disease facility. The Winnipeg and the Wuhan lab have level 4 scientific designations equipped to deal with the world's deadliest and most dangerous viruses. What's known without doubt is that a number of scientists from the Winnipeg lab collaborated with scientists from China over several years. There's been association and collaboration with Chinese military scientists, including their access to the Winnipeg lab. It's clear that it's fair to say that the Winnipeg lab did help to build the capacity of the Wuhan lab, and it's known that the Winnipeg lab did ship Ebola and Hendra viruses to the Wuhan Virology Institute 4 months before the couple was expelled from the lab. But other than those facts, there are a whole lot more questions than answers. The Public Health Agency of Canada, which has had an outsized role and extraordinary impact on everyday Canadians' lives during the past year and a half, has withheld hundreds of pages of documents related to the information and reasons for firing the 2 scientists despite repeated requests from MPs. PHAC says it's, quote, obligated to safeguard sensitive information, particularly in the context of national security and employee privacy. But Conservatives are asking for transparency because Canadians must be able to have confidence that the federal government has protected Canada's national security and the safety and security of all Canadians. Now, some might question whether this issue merits all this attention and being elevated for debate for an entire day after months of work at a dedicated committee. Well, the warnings in NSICOP reports from CSIS, from the RCMP, and media reporting about China's growing and complicated influence and intimidation campaigns around the world explain the gravity. Experts are pleading for legislators, and especially in free democracies, to recognize and combat the ever-increasing reach of China's communist regime. China engages in influence campaigns on politicians worldwide and in economic warfare against developed countries that implement policies to protect their own sovereignty and security. China methodically carries out foreign interference and espionage and infiltrates free democracies, threatening the cyber, economic, intellectual, and personal security and liberty of citizens. So this clearly should get Canadians' attention and serious urgency from Canadian MPs because Canadians are vulnerable. But this Prime Minister admires China's basic dictatorship, won't name the genocide of the Uyghurs, had an ambassador hold a retreat near concentration camps, gave tens of millions to China for vaccine research and Huawei research projects, had a foreign affairs minister financed by the state-run Bank of China, and calls anyone who asks questions conspiracy theorists and racists, all while China literally detains Canadians. Parliament must do its job, since this Prime Minister won't.